Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be checking out the South Vegas ruins, which, as far as I know, this is the only marked location we haven't really checked out yet. Now, a long time ago, we did check out one of the unmarked locations within the ruins, Zapp's neon signs. But today we're going to be checking out all of the entrances, some of the surrounding area, the location within, and additionally, we're going to be checking out the outside area by using a glitch to get outside of the map and seeing what the map looks like from, well, inside the South Vegas ruins. It'll make sense later. I hope you guys are ready for a cool episode because I think, well, it's pretty cool. So let's jump on into it. Now, the South Vegas ruins consist of 3 marked locations: the South Vegas ruins East entrance, the South Vegas ruins West entrance, and Vault 3. However, there's also a third unmarked entrance, which I'm just going to call the South Vegas ruins South entrance. Now, if you fast travel here, you might be attacked by fiends almost immediately, as I was at the East entrance. However, I hadn't discovered the West entrance yet, so I decided to make my way there. So as you come around, you're just going to find a lot of decrepit buildings just kind of decaying and falling apart. Obviously, this part of Las Vegas did not fare so well during the post-war era. Now, I'm not sure if a nuke landed in this area. It certainly kind of looks like it. Of course, most of New Vegas, or Las Vegas, was untouched by nuclear fire, but, 8 nukes did get through, so maybe perhaps one landed near here. Now, right here near the west entrance, you can find a gang of fiends, and this is also where Cook will be, who is a kind of a special named fiend. And you can obviously kill him. I've already killed him a long time ago. But over here we can find some Brahmin steaks, and there's also some human flesh. And we can very quickly learn that Cook is one of the most depraved characters in all of New Vegas. Even among the fiends, he's seen as depraved. He's known for raping and burning his victims, and is just a very cruel person. And then here is the location, the west entrance to the South Vegas ruins. Now, as we make our way around, we can find the Poseidon gas stop, and also over there we can find Violet, who is also a very cruel fiend. I've already killed her, but she used to feed her victims to her dogs, so very evil and, yeah. Anyways, as we make our way towards the next entrance, this is the south entrance, which is unmarked. And there's also just some destroyed buildings, but there's really nothing in any of the buildings. If we head just a bit further south, we can find driver Nephi, who will use a golf club to, well, kill people. And you can obviously kill him as well. And, he's just as cruel and depraved as the rest of the fiends. But I've already gotten rid of him, but that is where he would be. Now, as we enter the South Vegas ruins, you're just going to find, well, a ton of fiends and a ton of decrepit buildings. I don't know what else to say. There isn't really a whole lot in the way of loot in here, if any loot at all. The best thing you can do is kind of pick up fiends, weapons, and armor, and then sell it later. Some of the fiends carry decent weapons, such as laser rifles and stuff like that. But just go about killing the fiends. You can try and get in some of the old buildings and stuff, but most of the buildings are actually blocked off, so we cannot get inside of them. I do have to say, while the fiends are pretty easy to kill at this point in the game, the gunfights within the South Vegas ruins are pretty fun. It just kind of feels like an old western shootout or something like that. I don't know, but I enjoyed it a lot, even if the fiends were pretty easy to kill. Now, I just wanted to show off some of the destroyed buildings, like this one over here. Used to be what maybe was an old office building or something like that. Obviously, just an asset from Fallout 3. We have this destroyed bus, which has been split in half. We have these generic Fallout New Vegas kind of buildings. But yeah, we can go inside on the first floor, but we cannot get up to the second floor. Now, behind these buildings, though, we can find the unmarked location, Zapp's neon signs. Now, I've already covered this location in a previous video, so if you're interested in it, please check out that video. I'll put it at the end of the video and in the description below. But within Zapp's neon signs, we can find another named fiend named Duke, and this guy is really evil. He's only one of 5 named characters in the base game to have very evil karma. The others being Cook, Mortimer, Philip, and Vulpes Inculta. So he's in some very bad company, but I've already been here, obviously, in a previous episode. Now, outside of Zapp's neon signs, we can find a bunch of neon signs for various businesses that we can assume from across the Mojave. I talked all about this in my other episode, but I just wanted to go ahead and point out those signs because I think they're pretty cool. Now, of course, the other main location, or the biggest location within the South Vegas ruins, is this large warehouse. Inside, as you enter, you can find a ton of mutilated bodies and a lot of blood, and this blood leads down to Vault 3. But that is a story for another day. For now, I want to talk about a glitch. Well, using Reload Dash, eventually you can launch yourself outside of the South Vegas ruins. And I was curious to see what the world of the Mojave Wasteland looked like from outside. So eventually, after launching myself, I got lucky. I flew up really high into the air, and I was able to get over the invisible barrier that would normally block you from leaving. After that, I saved right before I hit the ground. If you didn't know, if you save right before falling to your death and reload, you will restart your momentum, so you will survive. After that, I made my way over to Camp McCarran. I was very surprised to see that all of the NCR were in the camp, and inside the camp, it looked normal. And what I very quickly learned is that several locations around New Vegas kind of share the same world. It's like the South Vegas ruins, Camp McCarran, Westside, and the North Vegas Strip, stuff like that kind of have the same world where they're all kind of connected and they just have basic textures outside to give the impression that you're still in New Vegas. And I found it really interesting. Some of the buildings I could actually enter through these black doors. I don't know if these buildings were meant to have rooms or something, or if it's just, I don't know why it's like that, of course. I'm not a programmer, but just something interesting I thought I would point out. As I made my way towards Westside, I found out I could open up this gate, and it just says junk door to the Mojave Wasteland. Of course, it should be going into Westside, but since I'm from the outside, well, it just took me back outside, but with everything loaded, so that's no good. Reloading our save, I decided to make my way towards the Hoover Dam in Lake Mead, just because I was curious to see what it looked like. And as I was kind of getting away from New Vegas, I passed by the Aerotech office park, which is also part of that same world that I mentioned earlier, as everything within the office park was loaded. Now, I made my way over towards Hoover Dam. I sped that up by times 20, just so you know how fast that was or how long it took me. But I found out that once you get outside of New Vegas, the world is much smaller than it actually is, well, in like the real game. So, for example, here we ran to this like mountain, and on this mountain was apparently where the scavenger platform is in the center of Lake Mead, but, well, clearly that's not right. There shouldn't be a huge mountain there. Now, I decided to go ahead and check out Hoover Dam, and, well, Hoover Dam was not here. I mean, kind of obvious. Why would they even bother putting in any kind of texture for the dam? However, we can kind of see the base of the Colorado River and Black Canyon, so that is all still here, interestingly enough. Now, I had enough of that. Obviously, there would be no fort or any, like, Legette's camp, so I decided to make my way to the edge of the world to see what it looked like. And, well, not too surprisingly, you just find that endless ocean, as you would when you leave the Mojave Wasteland, right? If you, like, leave from Morningstar Cave or something like that. But, you know, just kind of interesting, and thought I would go ahead and show it off because I never really explored outside of that area. Alright guys, and there you have it, outside of the South Vegas ruins and inside the South Vegas ruins. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Unexplored Mojave. I had a lot of fun making it. I don't know what it is about the outside of the map, but something about it I just really love. I just love the exploration factor, the fact that it feels like nobody's ever been here, and it also feels really creepy. Who knows who is watching you? Isn't that right, Dr. Bosch? Alright guys, if you have any ideas or recommendations for future videos or future locations, please post them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time.